Jim, let's talk about Niagara Falls. Tourism obviously hit hard by COVID-19. How are things going as we're here in the middle of, well, I guess we're at the beginning of October now. How are things going?
Well, I guess all things considered, Mike, as good as it could be. I mean, this year was a disaster from tourism. In Niagara Falls, 40,000 people depend on tourism and hospitality to put food on their table. And it affects every city in the region, all 12 municipalities. To have the borders closed, to have the casinos closed, the water parks closed, and lots of restaurants and a lot of attractions downsized or closed, it's been devastating. So, and then on top of that, we're worried. We didn't want people to get infected. We still did toward the end of summer. We did start to get significant crowds again. And we were concerned because you get a lot of people in small places, better chance of transmission. But I'm proud to say that our numbers were respectable, all things considered. I mean, we had millions of tourists still coming to the city, and yet our numbers were always around the middle of the pack within the region. So we're able to keep the city safe for the workers, for the guests, and for our community.
There was a little bit of back and forth through all of this once the Clifton Hill video came out. A little bit of back and forth between you and public health with Dr. Hirji, especially at one point when it was pointed out by Dr. Hirji in an announcement that a couple of cases could have been linked to Clifton Hill. Can you comment on that?
Yeah. So, I know Dr. Hirji is focused on our physical health, and we need him to do that, and I respect what he does, and we need that role. I'm also worried about the financial health, and I'm worried about the mental health of everybody who's unemployed. Because when you don't have money, everything changes. And people become desperate and they can do desperate things. That was my big concern. And he made a couple of comments. I referred to it as speculation without investigation. And what I meant there is he made reference to some people who had spent some time on Clifton Hill. In fairness, then mention all the places they spent time. Were they at a beach? Were they at a party? Where else were they? So to say that in isolation without any kind of investigation, I didn't feel it was fair. But I made it clear. I think Dr. Hirji and I respect each other's places, and I moved on. But that was my only point was I appreciate, and we have done absolutely everything we can. We brought in epidemiologists. We removed all street furniture. We used latest technology with misting hydrogen peroxide and UV lighting. We're enforcing the mandatory mask bylaw. We've got COVID ambassadors walking up and down Clifton Hill in the tourism core down by the falls on the parks lands, encouraging people, giving them sanitizer and masks. We did everything we could do. I'm thinking, just work with me. Our numbers did not spike more than any other area. We had the numbers in a respectable place. And it was mentioned, he said, some comment that it was lucky. I said, you can't get lucky for 3 months. I mean, and if I'm that lucky, I'm buying some lottery tickets because I'm not that lucky. So it was a lot of people working hard, making serious efforts to preserve their opportunity to earn an income. That's what it is. So, I mean, we're all in this together, and I know a lot of people are stressed, a lot of anxiety, a lot of cortisol being released with all this stress. And I hear people say this all the time. People are different right now. I said, yeah, they're under a lot of pressure. And once the vaccine comes out, I think people are going to be in a better place, hopefully a happier place, and we'll have more serotonin flowing, more smiles.
Jim, here our studio at YourTV is on McLeod Road, just over the highway overpass. The new Costco going up. What is traffic going to be like here on this road and on that exit once that Costco opens?
Well, it's going to be busy, very busy. And the good thing is the MTO already fixed the on-ramps and off-ramps here and the overpass. And the city as well widened all the lanes, all the connecting roadways. So we're ready. We'll be ready for the extra volume. This will be a big Costco and with a gas bar. And typically their gas is significantly lower than other places. So it's going to create a lot of demand. So we're ready for it. Really, that mall was built back in the 70s. It was expected to have lots of volume. It didn't happen. It was way ahead of its time.
But this is going to increase the volume, probably bigger than we've ever seen in that location.
It'll definitely spike, and we're ready for it. The irony is, back in the 90s, Costco, it was Price Club then, came to Niagara Falls first. They were supposed to locate on Mountain Road in Niagara Falls, and the council of the day turned them down. So they ended up going to St. Catharines, eventually bought out by Costco, and ironically, all these years later, 30 years later, they're back in Niagara Falls where they started. It's kind of a funny story.
October 19th, the changes to garbage collection across the region take place, or take effect, I guess I should say. You were adamant that you were not ready to accept this. You were out there maybe looking to try and line up your own contract for the City of Niagara Falls. Where, obviously, that's not happening. Where do you stand on those changes as they take place in just a couple of weeks?
Well, I mean, I believe in consensus, and even though I disagreed with what happened for lots of reasons and how it happened, the decision's done now. So I need to buy in, I need to support the cause, and I need to toe the line as well. So we're gonna have to make the best of the situation. We're gonna have challenges. Definitely when your garbage is picked up, instead of every week, every 2 weeks, you need to make sure there's nothing in that garbage, that you're gonna have rodents or other kind of concerns in your house. I know people say you have to do a better job of composting, and I agree, but a lot of things get contaminated. Some things you can't compost. So we're gonna have some challenges for sure. The part that's a little frustrating for me is I got people phoning me mad at the city for making this bad decision. And I knew this was going to happen. People weren't aware of it until it happens.
A lot of people don't understand who's responsible for services. And, you know, on the streets, it's even more confusing. Which is a regional road, which is a city road?
We don't know in the city half the time. We're like, is this regional or city? And we kind of laugh because we don't totally always know. But typically the major arterial connecting roads, connecting cities are regional, typically. But there's lots of exceptions. So in terms of this moving forward, yeah, a lot of people don't understand it's the region. They don't understand how it's going to work. And the first person they call is the mayor's office. And I laugh. Everyone calls the mayor first. So if you need a plumber, call the mayor. If you're looking for a job, give the mayor a shout. If your kids aren't behaving, call the mayor. And so I laugh. Start there and then work your way out. You know. So anyway, we laugh because you know, we know how effluent flows, you know, and it always goes downward, and always at the bottom of the hill, so it always kind of comes our way. That particulate comes our way. Yeah.
You just opened up a new park, pickleball courts, and all kinds of things at that park. So it must be great to be celebrating something brand new in the city at a time like this.
Yeah, John and Allen Park, we just opened up, and it's great. We got 4 brand new tennis courts and pickleball courts, so they're both. Also, we've got a big area retention pond for skating in the wintertime, so it'll be a year-round park. We've got basketball courts with hockey or lacrosse, however you want to play. We've got a beautiful cricket pitch down below with artificial turf, and a new playground play structure with AstroTurf around it. So if you fall, you don't get hurt, and there's not broken glass and things like that mixed in with wood chips. So we're really excited for the south end of the city. That's where all the growth is, the south and west end of the city. So now there's a beautiful park in that end for everyone to use. It's a year-round park. And I'm just happy. It took some time to get to this point, but now, especially with people having to be outside more, trying to avoid crowds, there's a lot of things to do outside, and hopefully people get that exercise, get that fresh air, get that sunshine.